Hello, everyone. Mike here from Sikich. Some of you may know me from our Thursday Sikich Lives. And while we continue those lives every Thursday at 2:30 Central Time, we're going to be having these new and special Salesforce edition Sikich Lives on Tuesdays. Thanks so much for being here. Sikich has been really looking for new ways to engage our clients during the pandemic and during COVID as we're working from home. So one way that we're trying to do that is through these live experiences. So we're excited to bring the special Salesforce edition to you. And we will be here each and every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 Eastern. So thanks again for being here for our first Sikich Live Salesforce edition. Today, we're talking Salesforce Features with Matt Mountain. He's a partner within our Sikich Salesforce practice. But before we get to you, Matt, just make sure to like and subscribe so that you're getting all the notifications that we have on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and then you'll be notified when these go live each Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Hey, Matt, how are you? Welcome to Sikich Live Salesforce Edition.
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So it'd be great if you could give us a quick little intro to who you are.
Yeah, so I've been in I'm a partner at Sikich. Prior to that, had a Salesforce implementation firm for about 12 years. Been in the Salesforce ecosystem for about 14 and been using CRM systems for 25. So very passionate about taking this technology and expanding upon it.
Great. Well, we're glad that we can have you here for our first Sikich Live Salesforce edition. So let's just jump right into it. Let's get into the meat of it here. So we're talking Salesforce features, right? So so many great Salesforce features out there, right? So how often does Salesforce release these new features? How well are they documented?
Yeah, so Salesforce is a really innovative platform in the fact that there are 3 major releases a year. So literally about every 4 months, you're getting a new release. And each release is extremely well documented. In fact, I've got a visual here to show you about how thick the release notes are, okay? So, there are a couple hundred pages of release notes of all these new features that come out. And, Salesforce is spending a ton of money on innovation, which is great. And, the question is, okay, I've got that thick release notes. How do I take advantage of it? So.
Right. So, and with all these features come upgrades, right? How do these upgrades arrive?
So, that's good. So back in my gold mine days, back in the 90s and early 2000s, I used to get that CD in the mail, and I used to break out in hives when I got it because I knew that just trying to install it and upgrade a system would just ruin a week. So the beautiful thing about the whole Salesforce environment is that these upgrades that you get 3 times a year are done on Saturday night at midnight. So nobody's on the system, or nobody should be, right? And so when you come in the next morning, you have that new logo, like an icon. It could be a guy skiing, or it could be somebody at the beach. And that just shows you that you're on the next release. So everybody gets upgraded at the same time. Now, when I say same time, probably over the course of a couple months, they upgrade all the servers. So you may go right before me, but essentially we're going to be on the same release very soon. And so everybody stays current. So it's not like you can fall behind.
Absolutely. It's great when you don't have to get into additional upgrade costs with on-premise systems. And like you were talking about before, the CDs and the media files that you would get, that was a great analogy there. But so what are companies doing to take advantage of these new features?
Well, I've seen 2 opposite spectrums. I've seen organizations that deploy and they're done. They treat it as a project. Start, stop, done, good luck. I've seen others treat it like a program where you start it, you deploy it, you keep enhancing it. So that's really the idea is, are you an organization that is truly treating it as a program or simply as a project that you want to get done? And oftentimes for even the program folks that they may not be taking advantage of everything that it has.
Right. And, I look at that 100-page document and I get a little scared, to be honest. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so many different features and so many different notes. So is that a reason that perhaps companies are held back a little bit, or what may be holding them back from, using these types of new features that come out?
Yeah. So it is intimidating. I mean, and I've got some certifications and I try to continually learn, and I'm still getting stuck. So, I'm trying to deploy a new feature right now that just came out and I can't get it working. So I had to log a case. So yes, it can be very intimidating, but there's really two things. There's deploying it, which typically works pretty well. And then there's integrating it with your business process. So as these new features come out, you really have to approach it from two aspects. Technically, how am I going to get it deployed? And then how well is it going to fit into that business process or create a new one? And, as you think about Salesforce administrators, I always say you got proactive and reactive. Reactive, they wait for the phone to call and somebody needs a new report. Proactive, they're constantly out there seeing what other people are doing and trying to bring it back to the business to provide additional value. But absolutely, it can be very intimidating.
Absolutely. That adaptability to change can make or break an organization's success. And having that type of change management organization is so important. So, I'm kind of thinking back a little bit here, maybe further back when CRM was, not as fully built, right? So, and I think there's a lot of companies or organizations that are still in this mindset of what a CRM actually is. And a lot of people think of it as an contact opportunity, right? The activity management. So what are all these other new features needed? What are all these other features? Why Salesforce?
Well, I'm always of the opinion with these systems, and I'm going to go back to my Goldmine days because I've loved Goldmine. But what I found was that people had legitimate reasons why they couldn't use it. There were technical issues. And I believe that for every minute that I enter data into Salesforce, it's got to save me 2 minutes. And there's a variety of ways it can save me 2 minutes. So that's just from a sales standpoint and from a pseudo marketing standpoint. But a lot of organizations are really taking Salesforce and enhancing it to provide much better support to these customers. So you can see all the activities with them, all the opportunities, all the support tickets, and you've got a great view of that customer. But there's other things like we turned on Einstein opportunity scoring. And all of a sudden now next to every opportunity, it gives me a score as to what's the likelihood that's going to close. And it's pretty interesting just to see some of the comments as to why some things may or may not close based upon certain factors. But other things like next best action. So, if I'm in a bank, in a call center in a bank, and somebody calls in, and based upon what products they have and what they're calling about, next best action could prompt me to mention something to them. So whether it's artificial intelligence on how to work better with this client, on what to propose, on how to provide better support, on bringing your distributors or clients in for self-service, there's so many things that you can do above the traditional account contact, opportunity, and activity management, which is what we did a lot in the 90s and early 2000s.
Now, Matt, this all sounds really great, right? So, but to me, it sounds too good to be true, right? So is this free or is it through their paid support program? What?
No. So clients spend a lot of money with Salesforce, and it's per user per month based upon your license type, blah blah blah. But it's not uncommon for companies to spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on Salesforce. And for those that do that and aren't enhancing it, are they really getting the true value from it? And when I look at organizations spending all this money but not taking advantage of the features, that's where I just go, And unfortunately, there's nothing, Salesforce will provide, and other organizations like us will provide, a 30-minute webinar overview on here's the new features, but it's very high level, and you can't really get into a lot of the details that can really drive a business. So no, there really isn't, other than, my big binder here, and taking time to go through it, it would just take a lot of time to do. So there's really, it's really something that we've been looking at and saying, gosh, they're spending all this money on Salesforce, and you've got all of these new features, but how do you really know how to take advantage of them?
So what are you doing to help clients understand these new features? What is Sikich doing?
Yeah, so one of the things we looked at is, there's, a paid support program, there's Salesforce support, there's all, these webinars, but again, what it doesn't do is it doesn't bring it down to each client's level. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm not trying to say they don't understand, but it's intimidating. So what we've done is we put together a very inexpensive program. We do not want cost to be the limiting factor here. And the idea is that 4 times a year, we are going to sit down with clients, now remotely probably, and talk through their business. What's changing? Take a look at their Salesforce environment. What's working, what's not, what problems are you having around adoption, business processes, what have you. Talk about these new features that came out, and then do a write-up for the client, specific to them. So here are the things that we recommend that you, Mr. and Mrs. Client, evaluate as part of your Salesforce journey. You may not want to do them, but at the same time, we're bringing visibility to these features that can help them. And so the idea is, if we're doing that every quarter, then we are going to be keeping them up on these features and really helping them drive to success from a Salesforce standpoint.
So Matt, let's say I'm a Salesforce Sikich client, or I am potentially looking for a new Salesforce partner to start working with and get new features and work in the system and all that. What are my next steps? How do I reach out? Who do I contact?
Yeah, so we put this together because for 2 reasons. We have a lot of, we get calls a lot around people that say, hey, I need some new training. And we take a look at their environment and say, well, training is only part of what you need. So there's that group of folks that we don't work with today. And then there's the current group of folks that we work with that just need additional help. And the thing is, solution architects that can do this kind of role are very expensive. So a lot of organizations don't want to pay for a dedicated solution architect. So that's why we are providing it very inexpensively. So whether you're a Sikich client or a non-Sikich client, this service is available to you. And you could reach out to myself at 513-482-1127. And we will definitely be happy to talk to you. But again, it's very inexpensive. We're not trying to break the bank. We're trying to get you into the right service with this virtual solution architect to really help you drive your Salesforce deployment.
Excellent. Well, Matt, that's all the questions that I have for you today. Thank you for being on here with us on Sikich Live, our Salesforce Edition first episode. Again, make sure to like and subscribe, whether on our LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook account, so you get notifications for these for when these lives go live each Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, if you're interested in anything that we've talked about today, or perhaps you just have a simple question about your Salesforce instance, we'd be happy to help. You can contact us at info@sikich.com or visit our website, sikich.com/Salesforce. We will see everybody next week. Thanks for joining. Thanks again, Matt.
Thank you.